Hello, my name is Lord Hunteel, and this is a Minecraft map that I'm gonna go ahead and show off. I kind of feel silly for doing this because I never thought myself doing this before. But I went ahead and used Minecraft as a mapping system to help with making a map for the Coronation because I was War-o-crat. Um, the Coronation was a Narnian themed, and what the purpose of this map was because it was the first Narnian movie, and as some of us know, that the first Narnian movie only had one big battle game. But there was a lot of other conflicts and things going on that were not actual real fighting. So what I did is I did some research, fact checking to see what the history was of the area because they talk about Mr. Tumnus's father perished during something with the Queen. So I went back and checked that out, and I found out it was either 954, I think it was the year, and what happened was the Narnians got upset. Were just freaking tired of the Queen having the endless winter, that they finally fought back, and when they fought back, they all perished. And that's when I decided, okay, well, we're gonna look at the first movie and go backwards in time a little bit, so that we had more battle games for the entire event. And this is the battle game design that I ended up figuring out uh, using some pencil and paper, and then going back and then trying to make it in this to see what my spacing was and see if it really was, possible to form strategies and things like that and everything in here. Um, anyways, so here I go. We'll try to do this. This is on my Xbox. So weird walking around with this with my controller and everything. All right, so here is where the good guys would spawn. I call them the Narnian host. Because Aslan wasn't around, so it's not Aslan's army, it's the good army or Narnian host. As they would progress into the courtyard, which was in the movie, um, this is where Edmund came in, not during this time frame, but this is the area in the movie where Edmund came in and saw all the stone statued Narnians in her courtyard. She kept all the dead bodies as souvenirs, and there were a few trees, kind of scraggly, old, decrepit things. So I went ahead and put those in the courtyard as well. Now they're all strategically placed, and the reason why they're placed this way is so that when a player would come in, and let's say they're getting shot by arrows or targeted by some sort of magic or something like that, they can hide behind this, work their way up, and then as soon as they get a chance, they can jump over here and get behind this low wall. Get back over to the front again. um, this here was a fountain that was also in the movie that I saw. I do believe it was either empty or frozen, and I placed it for more or less decoration, or kind of just making sure that people understood what was going on. And I'm into method acting and making sure that everything looks as best as possible when we do our games. All the walls were done with rope. This was done with a blue rope to signify that it was water. But instead of giving it water terrain effect where you have to step heel to toe, I made it just normal frozen water. Like the ground is all frozen as well. And so that way it wasn't going to cause more havoc. I figured more people would be fighting on the edges and trying to get up to the doorway and up to the low wall. So I decided just to go ahead and skip that part because that would just make it more annoying for the people trying to work the game. These trees were actually done with hula hoops. The strategy with those were that if you stood behind them, you could not be seen, could not be targeted. Griffins, giants, monsters, anything like that, standing behind them could not be targeted, and so forth. Griffins could actually fly above them. They had some brush and terrain and things like that, so they could not be targeted. And then as soon as they got out front of it, they could be targeted correctly. And we actually didn't have any problems with people getting confused with that. Um, this low wall was designed with this one right here in particular. There's one on the opposite side as well, but they were done with 3 road stakes The orange or yellow ones that you can find at Home Depot. They're about 3 foot tall. At the tops of them, they have a rubber tip, and then on top of that, I went ahead and threw some old sword blades on top of that as a safety buffer, just in case someone would fall on it or something like that. And then between those, at the bases, I would take a piece of rope, a red rope, and I would go from here to there, and that would be the low wall foundation. And then you can kind of pretty much look at it from a distance in real life with that setup, and you can see that if you take it from the top of each of the posts, you really, if that was an actual wall, you couldn't see from the waist down. If someone wanted to and they wanted to use it like a bunker, they could jump behind it with a bow and jump, poke the head up, shoot, duck behind it again, or maybe a magic user will crawl behind it to get around to attack somebody and so forth. And it actually worked out really well. Over here, we have the entrance to the palace. And this palace actually added a PVC piping frame box, which went across, and it had fabric linings. That way you couldn't necessarily see what was going on the other side of the wall. But the point was that it was more like a real castle battle where you had guys standing here and guys standing on the other side, shooting each other, stabbing each other, and it was a constant fight in this doorway. It worked out really well. People liked that part. When you get inside the palace, you can see there's ice pillars. I placed ice pillars with hula hoops in the field, and the staircases weren't really there in the field, but you kind of got the idea from looking at this of what I was really attending. And then because I was laying this out for map layout for the battle game, I went ahead and finished the roof off too, just for looks, for this purpose here, for showing this off. There's the queen's throne, and she was sitting there during the battle game. Her purpose was as soon as the revolution soldiers would get to this pillar, she would activate and start stoning everybody to basically knock them out. And that's where tides really changed, when she came out of there and started beating the crap out of everybody. In the movie, Edmund stood right here, and the wolf walked up that staircase over here to get the queen. The queen came out of there, and she came over to him as he was sitting on this, and that's how I knew that staircase was there. I'm guessing that goes to her royal quarters. This staircase over here is where he went to go to prison, along with Mr. Tumnus. And so I knew that was over here as well, so I went ahead and made those the spawn locations for the monsters in the palace. So they would come, and they would respawn here, and then they would run out there and attack and so forth. Because of the size of this grand hall, I knew that castle wise there would be doors on either side, so I went ahead and added those and made it so that you kind of see in there is something in there or something, and the other side is kind of the same idea where you can see in there and something's different. I lit up the room very dimly to make it more like an icy kind of feature. It works better at nighttime. During the day, a lot of light goes through. You can see I made this a staircase down, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I do believe this map worked out pretty well. I intermixed different monsters for either side. And what worked out really well is that if you watch the movie a couple times, you get to write down all the monsters that she used. And then you can go through the Amtgard rulebook door. I used 4.0. And you can pick out the monsters. Like, I know she had giants. So I picked out some giants that in the book, and then I adjusted some of their features so that it would work better for this game, and I made them all balanced and everything. And the team balancing of having normal characters with normal classes and mixed in with a bunch of monsters for this team, and then a bunch of monsters and normal characters on that team. And then I balanced them out, and it actually worked out really well. The battle game started with this team running out and this team running out here and blocking the door and making sure they couldn't get in. And then the revolution team actually made it inside the palace, activated the queen. The queen pushed them all the way back over here. And then this team figured out how to deal a little bit better with the queen, because they must have gotten smashed for numerous different reasons, and were able to get back to the door. And then a long battle happened right here, and everybody enjoyed this part. And then you got inside of here, and they fought and fought and fought and fought, and I finally actually won. Now, Granted, the storyline for the game is set where she wins, but I made it so that this team could win and this team could win by different meanings. So for her, in order for the queen to win, all she had to do was stone everybody. And the way for them to win was to occupy this room long enough to kill her. If they could manage to kill her, and if they did, then they win. And they barely did it. I mean, they did a really good job of getting up to that point. And they finally slaughtered her just in the right amount of time. And at the same time, they killed off a bunch of other guys on the other side of the room. And they had the room just for like literally 30 seconds, right when they were all about to spawn. And at that point, I figured they definitely won at that point. So yeah, and that was the battle game. I called this the the Narnian uprising against the Queen's tyranny. And then I kind of put the year on it just so that people understood that I wasn't necessarily working in the framework of just the year 1000, which what happens in the movie. But yeah, here's the Queen's castle, and this is what I designed the battle game off of. Thank you for looking at this. Again, my name is Lord Huntiel, and I am from the Duchy of Crystal Grove, or just recently Grand Duchy of Crystal Groves, in the Kingdom of Crystal Groves. The battle game happened at the Coronation for the Duchy on January the 18th actually. Thank you for looking at my video for this, and I'll have a map link up in the description of this video with the measurements for the map so that you guys can make your own if you want to for your own event or just normal park day. Thank you. Have a great day.